All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to a Friday Coffee. So glad that you're here. A great group here, and we have a pretty good group on Zoom as well. Ashley's managing the Zoom. So I started off by wanting to thank our sponsors from the Central Missouri Foster Care and Adoption, and we appreciate you for that sponsorship. Before we get started with the program, I just want to note that if you are joining us on Zoom, we have you on mute, or you should be on mute. That way, any unintended disturbances for the program, we are going to do questions and answers at the end, but we ask that you don't record this program. Let's do some introductions around the room, and then we'll also remind me to have the folks on Zoom join us and introduce themselves as well. So who wants to start? Mike, do you want to start?
Mike Lester, City Council Ward 2, Frank Bryson, Eaton Rotary, and we're getting ready to celebrate our 20th anniversary in a week and a half on Tuesday, April 19th, right next door here at Grace Episcopal Church. And the church has even let us serve wine for a change. Yes.
All right.
April 19th, 5:30 p.m. Grace Episcopal.
Good.
Deb Bushman, Manny Chiropractic.
Stephanie Lehman, CNS Business Services.
Negotiators and third principal.
Michelle Weaver, PLC.
Virginia Steyer, Post Builders.
Jesse Craig Wallace is the brightness orange.
Christopher Scott with Farmers Insurance, also the president of the Old Summit Community Betterment Association.
Friendly Farming, Post Scouts of America, and also
Seven marketing.
Sarah Bayshore, Chief Operations Officer at Melissa Jackson, Executive Assistant CEO for CNS.
You'll be introduced later. In case you're wondering about the bodyguard.
I'm president of the Airport System.
I'm James, I'm the marketing engineer.
Not CMS. Lori Elster with the
Jared Plummer with the Chamber. Roger Ridley with.
I'm Hillary with Holland Family Chiropractic. We do this month a Holland lunch program instead of hiring aides in our town. 15 of them here. To follow along, you'll follow our Facebook page as well.
Good.
And Jay Moore with Chamber staff.
And I'm Susan Neal Dottie with the Chamber, and
Yep, Ashley with the Chamber.
good. Oh, on Zoom, who on Zoom wants to introduce himself? Unmute. I knew I was going to forget that. Unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Good morning. This is Stu Murphy, retired.
Good morning. It's Paula Benny, CNS Business Services.
Hey, it's Lynn Cannon from Capital Region and New Healthcare Amphitheater.
Good morning. This is Steve Hauser, U.S. Rensit.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, at this time, once again, I want to thank our sponsors, and I'm going to call Sarah up, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about foster care and adoption.
Well, I'm Sarah Bayshore, and I'm the Chief Operations Officer at Central Missouri Foster Care and Adoption Association. Really long name. How we get people to remember is we do a chant. So I say CNFCA, so I do CNF. You say CAA, CNF. CAA. Now you got it, right? So sometimes we say it so fast, so you don't even hear that there's two A's at the end, but there are. So our agency has been in existence for several years. Around 2007 is when the CEO and founder of the organization decided to have a support group because she herself was fostering children. Actually, it was her niece's nephew. And there wasn't any place in Cole County that she could go to for support, to get clothing, all the things that you need when you take in kids that are not yours. So she developed the agency kind of out of the back of her Cavalier, to see how the story goes. So now we are fast forward to 2022, and we have moved now a couple times. We were in a little workhouse on Jefferson Street that is no longer there. It's that's really fast, I believe. So we've moved into a house that was that sits in front of Trinity Lutheran on Swift Highway, and now we're outgrowing that little workhouse. We call it little. It's really not that little, but we are hiring now for I think 40 positions, and we're outgrowing. And now we have a new project that we're working on, and we'll be moving to Christie Court, which is behind the surgery center on Christie Drive. Dr. Hopkins' office it used to be, so we'll be moving in there. We also have a new location in Rolla that we'll be moving to, and that is it used to be Metro Business College, and then it's Rolla. Then we also have different locations in Osage Beach and in Columbia. So 4 different locations. We serve 22 counties. And of course we serve, I skipped over this, but we serve foster, adopted, and kinship families and children. So you already probably understand foster care, maybe an adoption, you get that. So kinship is the one that's a little bit tricky, but if you think of a grandparent taking care of their grandchild because their children are unable, that's called kinship care. That's what we call kinship care. That's just them believing that's what a grandparent does, right? But when a grandparent only lives off Social Security and they're planning on retiring, that's where it becomes a problem when they have difficulties. So we can step in and we can help with that. We have a multitude of programs, but I'm going to show a video, I believe. I'm going to show a little bit of a video and then I'll share a little bit of information about that.
There are over 13,000 children in foster care in Missouri. Help us serve these often forgotten children. Together, we can build beautiful family trees across mid-Missouri. Here are a few ways you can support our mission. You can volunteer with us, give monetarily, become a respite care provider, or open your home to be a foster parent. Your assistance will help with filling backpacks for children entering foster care. When children enter foster care, they often have little to no clothes or personal items. This is why we make sure to fill backpacks with brand new toys and outfits just for them. Special events and field trips for the kids. Trainings to prospective foster care and adoptive parents. And finding families for children to avoid being placed in foster care. For the youth aging out of foster care, we teach life skills through our CCYP program. Your donations will help change the lives of foster, adoptive, and kinship families across Missouri. Here's how they've helped last year. Thank you for your support.
So that just gave you a brief overview of some of the programs. I could go on and on about all of our programs and what they do, but I think the biggest takeaway from our agency is if you know someone who's in a situation, please refer them to us. If you're interested in fostering or adopting, please reach out to us. If you feel like that's a little bit too much, there is the respite program. And that's basically getting trained to just take a kiddo for maybe the weekend or giving a break. I don't know how many of you have children, but oftentimes it's nice to drop them off to somebody else and go out to dinner or shop or do something without children. So foster parents need that too. So that's our respite program. And if all of those things are just not quite in your cup of tea, then you can also provide monetary donations. We take gently used items for our clothing closet called the trunk. which pays homage to how this all started, back in the term. Or you can volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers. Right now, one of our biggest needs for a volunteer is our clothing closet. It is it's part of the senior center on West Main. It's right next to the large funeral homes, but our clothing closet is open 2 to 3 days a week, I believe, and we are looking for somebody just to be there for foster parents to take appointments. They can take whatever they want, it's free, so we have tons of stuff there. So if you are interested in volunteering, please let me know. Just one more thing, I have a couple of documents for you to look at. This is our impact card that you should all have, and if you don't, you have plenty of them. It kind of talks about what the video already did, but the numbers for the year, and then also on the back of it, it talks about what I just did, about you can't foster, you can't adopt, you can't respite, but do the other things you can. And then we have an event coming up on June 9th. It's our luau. We've had it the last couple of years. It's really a fun event. It's at Millbottom. We are looking for sponsors for it, but we would definitely like you all to come. I will say we have 2 big events every year. It's the gala in November, and that's where you get dressed up and there's live auction events. It's really fun. But this one is fun because you do not have to dress up. You can wear your shorts and your fun Hawaiian shirts, and it's great bands, great food, and a great time. So come on out on June 9th from 6 to 9 p.m. And then we have the door prize. Just so you get a full name.
You got a name, your name from other now?
Oh, yeah, and I already mentioned who they are, but I have Kristen, James, oh my gosh. Kyle. I was gonna say Mr. Stephens. Kyle and Alyssa. Come on up, bring the bottle of wine. It's a bottle of wine, it's a prize. And a gift certificate to. And if you don't like the wine and you get chose, I like all wine. Chris Scott.
I'll be in the picture together, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, there we go. You want wine too?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Got it, good. Thank you.
And may I also take just a moment to say, as a foster parent, what this organization does, what they offer to my family as a benefit, what they offer to all of the children and families, is absolutely amazing. So thank you to each of you for what you do.
Sarah.
Yes.
I still do that you foster care folks basically go pick up people and have them go.
We do. So Gary's talking about, we have a Journey Home bus tour, and we are having it in Columbia this year. And it will be in November, but it's a really great experience. We try to rotate. Last year we had it in Rolla, I think the year before Jeff City, but we get a bus and we simulate what it's like to come into foster care. So, and how we did it last year was we had the sheriff's department come. We invited people from the community that are change makers who really want to do something to change the system. And those who support us. And so we had them in our building, and we had items on the table, and we gave them each a trash bag. We had the sheriff's department come, turn on the sirens, which was extremely loud. But when you hear the sirens out loud, and you think about being a kid and hearing that, and what that does to you, and you're supposed to pick whatever you can with your trash bag, then you get on the bus, and we start from what it would be like if you were a kid. So that means possibly going immediately to the hospital, or possibly a safe exam or something. So going to children's division or to the juvenile office, ultimately ending up at the courthouse and being in front of a judge. So we do all those different stops with information in between each stop, so you can just kind of learn what it's like. But we will be having this year's in Columbia, and it will be in November.
Great information. Great. We appreciate that. We are gonna flip our program just a little bit. Before the chamber does announcements, we're gonna go ahead and have our program because Chief Hill has an important place to be. He's all dressed up. He's got someplace to go. So why don't you come on up and get started? Because I think people are gonna have questions for you too. So I want to give you all the time on the program.
And I know it's a lot of you guys thought it was for you. It was for you. I guess just tell Timmy back there, I've lost some weight, so my uniform's not fitting correctly. But he said that's what you want to do before summertime. You want to lose a little bit of weight. So I'm trying to pick myself some weight. So I'm a little awkward. That's fine. Thank you guys for allowing me to come up here and speak with you guys in reference to Lincoln University Law Enforcement Training Academy. It has been a whirlwind getting it started. I had absolutely no idea when we did this that we would be where we are now with we have a news crew coming from Germany here coming towards the end of next month to talk to us about the program. Just the implications alone as far as us trying to increase the minority footprint in law enforcement. I just thought it was a good idea. That was just the bit of when I was at the sheriff's office. I was at the sheriff's office for almost 20 years, and it was very hard even for me to recruit minorities in law enforcement because most of the time people want to go where they see other people like them. They want people shopping in the streets. That's how I always say. They want to go someplace where they feel like they're going to be welcome. So that was the premise for me starting with the University Law Enforcement Training Academy. And before I start, I want to play a little quick YouTube video for you all, if you don't mind. Give you just a little bit of background on where we are. I've had the opportunity to be able to talk to the Today Show, ABC Nightline. The list goes on. Time Magazine, list goes on the publicity that the Academy has been able to garner. Now, we also have been able to replicate the program, which we're trying to do in several other states. Right now, we have a partnership with Harris Stowe, our sister HBCU. What a HBCU is a historically Black college or a university. That's what HBCU stands for.
Are your
There are
students
7 of those across the nation. So what we're trying to do is partner with those 7 HBCUs. They have actual criminal justice programs. And again, our whole goal is just to increase the minority footprint, to try to change the environment, especially to have Black people see law enforcement, because we're constantly inundated with things on TV in reference to police brutality and things like that. But make no mistake, law enforcement is still an honorable profession. And it's important for us to show the good, not just the bad. Oftentimes we see that. And so when we get these young men and women into the academy, those are the things that we focus on. We focus on things like, hey, we arrest millions of people a year, millions, without any incident. I use the example of Cole County because this is where I am. Cole County, about 40 to 50 people a day go to jail. 40 to 50 people a day. And so you do that in a month time, that's how many people go to jail a day without incident, without any problems with the police or anything else like that. You get their day in court and all those things happen. And so it's important for us that when we get these young men and women into the academy, that again, we talk about the positive side of law enforcement, because oftentimes when we focus on the one negative thing, again, that may be enough to have a whole community or a whole segment of our population not want to engage with law enforcement. So I'm gonna play this video for you guys real quick, and then I got a little PowerPoint that I'm gonna talk to you guys and answer some questions.
First, we're gonna hear about Zyrtec.
Twice as hard when you take it again the next day. Zyrtec, muddle no more.
224. Green pickup truck in front of me. How you doing today, sir? Can you run the window for me, please?
A routine traffic stop involving these two men.
Thank you.
I just need my information back.
I need backup.
But the driver isn't cooperating. The situation quickly escalates,
I just need to go.
becoming dangerous.
You don't go back
Just
to your
give
bed,
me my driver's license and I'll get out of here.
Put your hand on your back, please.
Bang! An ambush. Had it been real, the outcome could have been fatal.
Who's the backup on? I am. What was called in? Guys, we've talked about this. We have to be observant on our traffic stops.
This is Missouri's Lincoln University, an HBCU, one of the 107 historically Black colleges and universities in America.
Tomorrow will be physically demanding.
And these young men and women, the inaugural class in the very first police academy at an HBCU.
A lot of jobs are stressful, but You know, this job in particular puts your life on the line every single day.
A groundbreaking program born out of necessity. Today, 71.5% of police officers in America are white. If those numbers are to change, Lincoln University is hoping to lead.
You can't help how other people see you. And how other people see you, that's their problem.
Chief Gary Hill is one of the co-founders and principal instructor.
Why is it important in this moment in our nation's history to have this program?
Law enforcement agencies across the nation have been pulling their hair out trying to figure out a way to recruit more minorities, and this has never been tried.
From coast to coast, police departments are struggling to recruit new officers and retain veterans. Nationally, retirements are up 45% in policing, resignations up 18%, while recruitment is down 5%.
Give me the elements of causing a catastrophe. And what is it? Is it a misdemeanor or a felony?
Lincoln's first class has 9 recruits.
Class A felony.
Their success could help change the face of policing. It's a model other HBCUs are considering.
I would love to see where we can go from here.
The Academy is a rigorous 6-month program. Most of these recruits are also full-time students, juggling a college workload with the rigors of police training. We met them last summer. The stress was palpable.
Move!
The weight of history, the high anxiety of final exams. Pass and go on. Fail and go home.
Our academy is from 5 o'clock at night till 10 o'clock in the evening and 8 to 5 on Saturdays. So we're putting in 32 hours.
This is flashcards. Help me learn faster.
College sophomore Tiaja Fairley is the youngest in the class.
The homework be kicking my tail. I don't have an outside life. I miss all the school events. Being in this police academy, I miss having fun with my friends. I miss birthdays, all type of celebrations.
Almost all of her time is dedicated to making it as an officer.
It's so important for me to work out because I might be chasing somebody someday. So yeah, I gotta stay fit. I feel like all officers need empathy. Hello, sir. You just don't know what somebody else is going through. Can I get your license and insurance, please, sir?
I just got off from work. I'm just trying to go home.
That day you talking to them could be their worst day.
Black women are among the most underrepresented groups in policing, making up just 2.7% of the force nationally.
I never saw a black female police officer growing up. I am kind of proud of myself, actually, that I could be like the face and the voice for girls like me. Like, yes, you can do this. So we just got to push forward and do what we want to do. Like, don't let nobody stop us.
How can you be something you can't see?
Exactly. That's where like a lot of my doubts came from, because I'm like, can I be a good police officer? Like, I don't know nobody to look up to. Like, I got to be my own role model, really.
What do you think it'll mean when you come across that first brown-faced little girl who sees you and sees someone who looks like her?
Oh my gosh, like, that would be amazing. Like, I kind of wish I would have saw that. I don't know, I probably would cry or something.
Every other Sunday, Tiaja makes the 2.5-hour drive home to see her family. The eldest of 4, the siblings are tight-knit.
In a minute, when I turn 21, I'll be a police officer. How do you feel about that? Like I said, I think it's cool. This is something that I want to do, that I want to see a change in. As should anybody being a police officer, they all should be wanting to make a change, at least for the better.
Her dad, Tito, supports her career choice, but still worries about her safety.
You know, I love you, so I don't want nothing to happen to you. I know it's dangerous out there. Sometimes just because you got on that badge, it brings problems. I've been a security guard, and I've seen how they treated me. Some people treated me with respect. Some people treated me very disrespectfully, just because I was wearing a police uniform.
It's investing in recruits from communities like Tiaja's that's central to the chief's mission.
So what you all have to do is be the change that you want to see. You have to be. Good morning. Morning. Come on in. This is the fire system.
In addition to the academy, this 26-year veteran is also head of the Lincoln University Police Department.
This is our monitoring station. We're able to completely lock down campus, all the doors and things like that, in case we have active shooter.
Chief Hill oversees a staff of 22, yet still patrols the campus himself.
Receive, thank you.
And in his downtime is working.
So they're talking about me right there, and I'm not part of that. So we'll move on from that. So in the process, and that this is on ABC Nightline. There's 2 parts to it, and it's a great watch. If you ever have about 17 minutes to watch the whole program, as far as, and there's several of them that are on there. So our program again is geared towards the students, because you'd be surprised at how many people that want to be in law enforcement that say, I never knew that I could be in law enforcement because when I was in high school, I used to get in trouble a lot. Well, you were a juvenile. Doesn't matter, it doesn't count. A juvenile record is sealed. We can't go back and find out what happened unless you did a homicide or you were considered to be a felony or anything else like that. And so you have all these people who've been in trouble, who I wasn't a good kid at all, by no means. And most of the people that know me know that when I went to school in Lincoln, they kicked me out for 3 years. Imagine that. I got to come back, I got to get my education, went on to get my master's degree in criminal justice, and I will defend my dissertation this time next year. And I'm actually writing it on the University of Norfolk Training Academy. So my wife said she's refusing to call me doctor because my head is big enough. She's refusing to do that, and we'll talk about that at another later day. So just a couple of things about our academy. I've been able to, this summer, last September, I was able to talk about our academy at the White House HBCU initiative. I was able to speak with the president. Each president comes in and they have a cabinet over the HBCUs around the United States. So being able to talk to them and show them our program, they were very interested, which is why we garnered so much interest about it from the HBCUs. One of the things, again, that I talked about earlier was 52 of them have those criminal justice programs, and those are the ones that we're targeting. We want Jefferson City to be on the map as far as where we're at with criminal justice. Dr. Mosley and I and several other partners around Jefferson City, we want to make Lincoln University sort of a public safety hub when it comes to cyber intelligence, cyber security, criminal justice. Next door to our police academy, we are getting ready to put in a EMT program, which is Emergency Medical Technician program, right next door to the police academy. And so we want to group all these things together. In the process, we're working with Chief Schofield and the other partners around Jefferson City to get that program up and going as well. Again, what we want to do is make Lincoln University, we want to be a destination, especially for minorities when it comes to public safety, when they get into law enforcement. This is where they want to come. This is where they want to go to school. And what that does for Jefferson City is probably one of the most diverse places I've ever lived in. And so being here in Jefferson City, what it allows is other people to come in, their jobs, the whole thing, that whole chamber thing that you guys do. So we always say we want to be able to attract people to Lincoln University and Jefferson City as a whole. Lincoln University is part of Jefferson City, not just City. So just watch that video. That's just a little bit of history about Lincoln University. And Lincoln University has a very rich history when it comes to why it was founded. It was founded by freed slave and Union soldiers so that Black people can get an education. That's huge, of course, because we know the history of our country, that wasn't allowed. And so after the Civil War, these HBCUs were founded around the country to be able to do that. It was started at $1,400. And this is where we are now. We'll continue to grow. We're in a little bit of low right now because of the pandemic and everything else, and nationwide enrollment in colleges is down. But we're slowly building up back our enrollment and slowly building our brand, rebuilding our brand, I should say, for Lincoln University. So here, so some of the roadblocks that I want to talk to you guys about in reference to our academy. We have a lot of students, recruits in the academy that just, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this as well, especially those who are more business owners. Just with kids coming out of high school that don't have a lot of life skills. And then, so what compounds ours, and since Lincoln University is an open enrollment school, we don't get the most academic kids. We don't get the, we have a dorm full of 3.0s, 3.8s, and 4.0 students. But we get a lot of students that may have, 12, 13, 14s on the ACT, and then we work with them through the program to get them where they are. I was one of those kids. I was a football player, a wrestler, and track star. As long as I scored touchdowns, as long as I smashed people on the wrestling mat, as long as I ran really fast, I graduated with C's. I don't know how that happened. I didn't ask any questions. What that did was made me almost not be able to do college work when I got to college. And so Lincoln University has programs like that I entered for student support services, to where you have to take a semester of classes that don't count for any college credit before they'll let you move on. And so we do a really good job of preparing students. So one of the things that we found out on why people want to come to our academy is transportation. Issues like I don't have a driver's license. So one of our kids from the last class said, when he's done his paperwork, said, I need a copy of your driver's license. Chief, I don't have a driver's license. I said, you are going to be 22 years old and you don't have a driver's license. He goes, Chief, where I'm from, if you can't afford a car, why would you have a driver's license? Think about that. I thought that was just something that everyone did, driver's license. We had kids where I said, hey, filling out this paperwork, I'm going to need your social security and they need a birth certificate, things like that. So can you call your parents and get that? Chief, my mom's on that stuff. I lived from couch to couch until I came to Lincoln University. We don't have those kind of records, and my mom is halfway in, halfway out half the time. We don't have this type of things. So I had to teach them how to get birth certificate, I had to teach them how to apply for a social security card and things like that. It's just the little minute things like that that we help some of these students with, especially our law enforcement recruits, that we found out that those are the reasons why we're missing out on so many people joining the law enforcement. We in law enforcement too have some of the blame in the sense of if I get an application, you miss a period or you didn't fill something out or left blank, we do it right. We also were in the sense of if you had tattoos below your arm stuff, you didn't get a chance. We missed out on so many good people because of the standards that we had set for ourselves and the way society was, that now we have to go back and relook at how things are now because it's different. Because if you think about it, if you were born in 1965, there's 2 times as many people living in the United States now than there were when you were born. Times have changed, things have changed. We have to change. The dinosaurs went extinct because they failed to adapt to change. So we in law enforcement, if we don't do that, then our numbers will continue to shrink. And so that's why we're currently trying to adapt change for us. So our future training plans for our recruits, filed for and received a $120,000 grant. It's part of my promise to Governor Parsons in reference to making sure that we focus on de-escalation. And so I was able to buy a Milo system, a theater system. So it's like a movie theater where it's a virtual reality. You get to go in and the guns interact with stuff that's happening on the screen. On this particular system, certain things happen when people come out yelling and screaming, and you can give commands and verbal commands, and I can control what happens on the screen from the computer to put them in scenarios and situations so that they're able to deal with them in training, so they'll know what to do when they're out on the streets. Also bought an Axon virtual reality system as well, and that one is just a headset, so that we can do multiple virtual reality scenarios and get everyone in the class through those situations. And so that was very big for us, and we were happy to receive that grant. Again, other roadblocks that we had, the administrative procedures for the academy. Just making sure that everyone understands the rules. And what I mean by that is schools are different, kids in college are different. Classroom up on the hill at Lincoln University is a lot different than how we hold our classes. Meaning you just can't show up to the academy when you get to the academy. You can't just walk in when you want to walk in. Academy starts at 5, you probably have to be there about 4:45. Uniform needs to be kind of squared away. We've adapted to some of those other changes in reference to a lot of police departments allow beards. We used to allow beards in the academy and things like that, and I know academies that still don't allow people to have beards, but a lot of police departments are going to allow officers to have beards. That's another little thing. You'd be surprised at how many people will say, I really want to be a cop, but I don't want to have to shave the beard off. We also had some young men that you saw in the video who, hey, I really want to be a cop, but I don't want to cut my dreads. I don't want to got my dreads. And so we have to implement and put in things that say, you know, just like with females, you have to put it up in the bun, you have to keep it off your ears, you have to keep it off your collar, and things like that to let people know, again, we are adapting to the change in society. We're not lowering our standards. There's just some of the things that we're adapting to increase the numbers of law enforcement. This CIT program is our biggest program. That is a 40-hour crisis course to where they bring in role players. This little, they teach you on what it's like to deal with a person who's hearing voices. And so what they do is they make you put on headphones. And while you're wearing these headphones, there's these voices and things going and talking and whispers and everything else. And they're also asking you to do other certain things so that you can understand what those type of crises are like and when you're dealing with those people. So we spend an enormous amount of time on making sure that our officers that come out of our academy know how to deal with people who have mental illness or suicidal, especially with our vets and things that are going on right now. Those are the things that we're pushing it in. Practical exercises. The practical exercises is kind of what you saw in the last part of the video. We have a farm that has several cabins out there. And what we do the last 2 weeks is kind of what we call like our hell week. And we take the students out there. That particular classroom, the students are in that classroom, they get a radio, they're dispatched to a call. An officer goes with them to grade them on that call. They'll have to, from start to beginning, so the time that they get there to the time that they make a decision on what to do with that call, and then they have to write a report on it, and all that is graded for that last 2 weeks. And we do that, and we push them really hard those last 2 weeks to ensure that when they leave Lincoln University Law Enforcement Training Academy, they know what they're doing. That's why I like to keep our class sizes so small so that we can give them that added extra attention, especially for the practicals. Because what you find out in a lot of law enforcement training academies, when you have 25, 30, 40 people in the academy, it comes time to do practical exercises. Unless you have an instructor for each one of those and role players for each one of those, it's next to impossible to give them the repetition for them to be able to learn what they've read in the books to put it to actual work out there at the practical exercises. So we talked about our recruits and applications. Our initial class was of 14 and we graduated 9. So we're on our 4th class that we're getting ready to graduate. We graduate the St. Louis class on May 24th and we graduate the Jefferson City class on May 26th. So we have already had 4 classes. We're getting ready to start our next session, August 22nd. And August 22nd, currently right now in the St. Louis class, unfortunately, we have 26 already. And then here in Jefferson City, we're up to 9. And so again, I try to cap it at no more than 25. It's easier for us to maintain, especially going out to the range, especially doing practicals, especially making sure that everyone is getting what they need to be successful. And you have a smaller group as opposed to, it sounds horrible, but turning it into a puppy mill, to where we're just trying to push people out, push people out, push people out. Those are some of the media outlets and stuff that Lincoln University has talked to. And like I said, we hope to increase the program. We will never run no more than 2 classes a year. We'll run 1 class in the fall, 1 class in the spring. That's it. I don't ever want to turn into 3, 4, 5, and 6 classes. We will always be a part-time academy. There have been several agencies and several municipalities that would like us to do it full-time. But the reason why we're only going to do part-time is because part-time works. Part-time is for the people who have full-time jobs that want to change and get into law enforcement, but can't quit to go to the police academy. Now, you can quit to go to the police academy, but that means that you have to be hired by a police academy and they have to sponsor you to go to the police academy. So you're being paid by that particular agency to go to the academy, such as Missouri State Highway Patrol. You get hired by Missouri State Highway Patrol after you go through a process, then they pay you to go to the police academy. Doesn't mean that you'll make it through the police academy. It doesn't mean that you'll make it through the FTO process. And so that's a significant investment from the law enforcement agency they put into you for approximately about a year, to where we spent a year on this guy or young lady, and they didn't make it. And so it's easier for when people pay for their own academy, you become like a free agent. You can go and work for whoever you want to work for because you paid for your own academy. And so that's why the academies that aren't attached to law enforcement agencies work so well. A part-time academy allows our students to still take other classes and go to school, It allows people to be able to financially pay for the academy, and it allows for working adults to have a law enforcement education and change their career. So just a little bit about our little facility. So I don't know how I got lucky enough to be able to call it 911 Leslie Boulevard. I don't know how that worked out, but it did. And so we just basically renovated some space in our little strip mall next to it. And if you don't know where this is, Leslie Boulevard. River Dentistry used to be next door to us. That's what the inside looks like. If you ever want a tour or anything like that, just come over and I can show you some of our facilities that we're renovating. This is our MAT defensive tactics room, which is downstairs. Elias donated some wrestling mats to us, so we were able to put the mats downstairs. I don't know, those are pretty expensive, depending on what you buy. And so we do our defensive tactics downstairs. These are some of our instructors. Lincoln University Police Department, Missouri State Highway Patrol, Federal Bureau of Investigations, Jersey City Police Department, Polk County Juvenile Office, Polk County EMS. Judge Beadham, our presiding judge, comes over and teaches our constitutional law. Polk County Prosecuting Attorney's Office teaches our Missouri statutes, and Missouri Department of Conservation, they have a police academy too, and their instructors come over. Major Ham does our defensive tactics. And so I wanted to make sure that when we create this program that I involved everyone. I wanted everyone to be a part of this. This wasn't a Gary Hill thing. This wasn't a Lincoln University thing. I wanted to make sure that all law enforcement agencies within our area had some say-so in what we were doing here, because the ultimate goal is to ensure that once they graduate from the academy, is that they're employed. So these agencies use it as an interview process when they're over there teaching and finding out who's paying attention, who's going to be, who will make a good officer, who's wanting to stay in Jefferson City after they graduate. That's about it. These were the things that when I was starting the program that I talked with Governor Parsons and Director Carson about on what we were trying to do to make sure that we do at Lincoln University. This is what we're pushing to make sure the academy. Now, our academy isn't as rigorous as some of the academies that are supported by other law enforcement agencies, meaning attached to the law enforcement agency. We do focus a lot on making sure that you're a community member first. We're going to teach you to protect yourself and protect others and be safe and shoot and defensive attacks and stuff. But we want to make sure that when we're teaching our young men and women at Lincoln University Law Enforcement Training Academy, that they understand they are community members first. You can go out and find crime anywhere, but can you go out and solve problems within the communities that you're out patrolling? Those are some of the things that we focus on. And it's often hard because our call volumes today for our law enforcement agencies are so high because people call the police for everything. From out of control kids to my neighbor and I get along to dog poop in my neighbor's yard and they're fighting now. That we should never be calling the police for those type of things. But unfortunately, that's where we are in society. So we want to make sure that we teach our officers, hey, be community members first. You guys have any questions? Yes, sir.
We have a question. It may have been in your slides, but you touched on this, and I missed it. I apologize, but the LEAP program is not bachelor's program.
No. So great question. So it's not the bachelor's program. It is 15 college credit hours only. 15 college credit hours, but a majority of our students that are full-time students at Lincoln get into the program their senior year and they graduate with their bachelor's degree in criminal justice with this last 15 college credit hours. So you only get 15 college credit hours for going through the program.
Is there any future plans to turn it into?
So no, and the reason being is giving that many, keeping someone in the program that long. Again, if you're in the program and then you get bad grades and you get suspended, then you literally have to start the police academy part of it all over again. So that's why we kind of mirror the classes that we have with the current curriculum that we got from the Department of Public Safety. So at this point in time, it's easier for us to say, hey, the best time to enter into Lincoln University Law Enforcement training program is your senior year. That way, you're 20 years old, you have to be at least 21 to be commissioned by a law enforcement agency. And so at 20, 21, you're getting ready to graduate, you use these last 15 credit hours to get your bachelor's degree. And if not, some people just go to the academy, they really don't care about the hours. They just want to be able to get into law enforcement with the Class A certification. So I hope that answers your
Yeah,
question.
I just want to know if there's a, two justice parallel one with the academy.
Yeah, and like I said, it just makes it hard. I know Missouri State Highway Patrol, they were doing mineral college, you guys were getting an associate's degree, and they were going for 6 months. There are very few programs that do it that way, since it's a complete bachelor program. Yes, sir.
So Chief, if a young person goes through the program, the age requirements.
Yes, so you cannot have any felonies, of course. You cannot have a DWI within 5 years. You cannot have any kind of possession charges within 3 years. And everything else is subject to the law enforcement agency on what they're willing to accept. So that would be about it. The only other thing is you have to be able to physically do the job, i.e. the PT. And even within the PT in our program, we won't wash you out from the PT, but you have to show significant improvement from the first day that we took your 1.5 mile push-up to sit up to sit and reach on your 300 yard dash. So you have to show significant. We have a trainer, personal trainer that comes in and works for us at the university that does our PT, and they hate her, but she's really good. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, she did. So she is at Webster Groves Police Department in St. Louis. We get a significant number of recruiters from the St. Louis and Kansas City area that come to snatch our recruits. I don't know what's going on there. I don't ask questions. That's why I live in Jefferson City. But one of the things is she was 20 years old, and so she had to wait until she turned 21 to be commissioned by her. And also, too, again, it shows you Jefferson City has small. So the city administrator of Webster Grove in St. Louis is Maria Peoples, who used to be our Polk County health nurse. And so we've established, and we have people like that all over the nation, all over Missouri, lived here in Jefferson City, who graduated from Lincoln, who are in those type of top tier positions that say, hey, we need people that partner with us and come and recruit recruits. So we also had a young lady go to Ferguson, Missouri, working for their police department now as well. Yes. Great question. So we always ask for our community members, especially coming towards the end of our academy. We're always looking for role players. We're always looking for real people to come out to help us put these law enforcement recruits into real situations and deal with real people. So we want you all to be a part of the training process. And so we usually give, we have a little actors guild that comes out and helps us and stuff like that. So we usually post these on Facebook and other social media platforms that, hey, if you're not busy on Saturday from 8 o'clock, from 10 o'clock in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you can come out and help us. And we put you in a scenario where you either get to be mean, or you get to be nice, or you get to cry, or you and your husband or significant other can have that fight that you always wanted to fight to see what happens when you show up. So those are all ways, and we always need volunteers to help us as well. We do have scholarship funding to where we ask people to donate to the program through Lincoln University. We have had several, our community, we live in a great community, guys. And again, I lived in 26 different states, 2 different countries. Both my parents were in the military, so Jefferson City is probably it's one of the best places I've ever lived. We've had so many people from all over the state, especially Jefferson City, that have come up with complete scholarships. Cassie Hoffman, she does massage. She has a scholarship she created a scholarship for a female who wants to be in law enforcement, that she'll pay half the tuition. Rita Lard supports a person pays their whole tuition every semester for one person. So any donations or anything like that, or if you know somebody that you would think wants to get into law enforcement and they're just kind of scared because maybe some things have happened, or they just don't know where to start, send them to me. Send them to me, because maybe our academy might not be, or they may be able to be hired by Jefferson City, Missouri State Highway Patrol, Polk County, or something like that. We can help them. We need women, men in law enforcement. Yeah. Yes.
If somebody wanted to supply scholarship,
So it's the $6,000 for the academy, it's another 1,700 on top of that if they live in the dorms and for their meal plan. So we get a lot of people, like we have a kid coming from Iowa this next class, and he lives in Iowa. He wants to come here and go to our academy, he's gonna live on campus, and so that's what it's gonna cost. He was in the military, so it's a GI Bill, this is gonna pay for it. So it'll be for him, it'll be $7,600. And that includes 15 college credit hours for Class A license, and we have a 98% placement rate in law enforcement agencies. Yes, sir.
So do you issue some kind of certification in your program when someone completes it?
Yes, you get the criminal justice certification that you have. If you're getting ready to get a degree, no, you just get the criminal justice degree and the Missouri Department of Public Safety Class A certification, which allows you to be a law enforcement officer anywhere in state of Missouri, with the exception of Missouri State Highway Patrol, Metropolitan St. Louis, and Kansas City PD. But now we've worked out an MOU with Kansas City PD that if they go through our academy, then they'll only have to go through an abbreviated 6-week academy with Kansas City Police Department.
I hate to cut this short, but I happen to know that the chief's supposed to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. And that's why we flipped the program, because I knew it would be a great program and I knew you would have great questions for him. So is there anything else you want to add before you?
Does anybody have a question that they want to ask for?
Where do you sign up if one partake?
You email me, and me and you get together and we'll talk and have fun. So we're getting ready to launch the Facebook and social media page for that. So absolutely, just get at me at Lincoln University and I'll shoot you a whole list of dates which that we're going to do them. And if you can only come out for an hour, just not for an hour. We have multiple scenarios and things like that. And one of the things, again, our recruits always tell us, being able to put what we learned into the classroom and make it applicable into actual real life is what makes the difference. Thank you.
I think, did you say it was graduation that you were going to? I think so. Pretty important. So, once again, I want to thank our sponsor, Central Missouri Foster Care and Adoption Association, and our other sponsor that helps us with promote this event, and also all of our sponsors, Cumulus Radio. Rochelle, I don't know if you want to share anything about Cumulus.
Yeah, 7 wonderful stations with our digital products. We talk to close to 200,000 people each week. To get with senior CM. Yes.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you helping us with the benefits of sponsorship. So if your organization would like to sponsor 1 month, you can see, you get the promotion in advance, you get to share about your organization at a Friday Coffee, and then you get to work with Rochelle on follow-up promotion. So that's $125. We'll book if you have a particular month that you want to have that. We'll hope it's available. If not, we're looking into 2023 now, but you'll save that date for you. I want to welcome our new members. You may or may not know, and I look around the room, we've had folks help us on a membership campaign. Gary kind of led a membership campaign for the chamber. So we have a lot of new members there. I'm not going to read through all the names. If anyone, I don't know if anyone is here today or online, but we have more to come. This is just the first wave of our new members for this campaign and other members. So we welcome the new members. Glad to have you with us. Either some are rejoining us, some are new businesses. It's really exciting, the growth that we have in chambers. So glad to have these members, and I'm also thankful for the volunteers that reached out and invited businesses to be members of the chamber. It really makes a difference. We do have a new member coffee on the 13th. That's next Wednesday in this room. So if any of the new members, they will all be invited, or if you know of someone that didn't have a chance to attend a new member coffee or a lunch that we have them every other month and at the chamber. It's a great chance for you to meet other new members and to learn a little bit more about the chamber, maybe ask some questions that you didn't get an opportunity to do so when you join the chamber. One of the benefits of membership that we would be sharing is our social media forum. Natalie Newville is not here. Natalie and Kenny run that. Natalie's with the library and Kenny's with Newville Consulting, but once a month we have social media forum, and we have a different topic of interest to businesses and organizations that use social media to promote their business. This month, it's best practices, it looks like, and they do that, they'll go to a specific topic, and then they kind of do a case study the next month. We'd love to have you or someone from your organization, if that's your role in your organization, come or send someone to represent you. It's always on the third Wednesday, and it's at noon at the chamber, so it's the 20th this month. An event, we've got lots of events to promote. Also on the 20th, April 20th. Nick, I'm going to put you on the spot because you're in YP and you're here. Jose could do it too, but you were here before Jose, so there you go. So tell us about this charity one. Oh, and what, you know.
Yeah, so YP is putting on our annual wine competition. This year it will be Recipe Warrior Project. So it is on April 20th. From 5 to 8 p.m. at the Apple Bluffs Event Center. And tickets, they're $40 a piece. And with that, you get a $20 value bottle of wine or more, $5 food voucher, and you get taste test.
To add to that, yeah, the wineries, they're gonna actually have the professionals that they or two of the wine. So any questions about the wine, I don't know. Answer everything at our station. There'll be a Bourbons tasting as well. We have two stories that are so far confirmed that will be there yeah, so it's gonna be a great time. Doing it for it started 2018. It's been a great benefit to them. It's great.
It's just one of the great things that the young professionals do. So I would encourage you to notice I didn't make that announcement because they planned that whole event. It's all they're doing. They've gotten great sponsorship. It's a great cause. And so if you or someone in your organization likes to be involved in the community, learn leadership roles and just responsibility, have a lot of fun. Young professionals, I can't say more about young professionals and the benefits that it has for the chamber and for the participants. Chamber Connections is our monthly networking, third Thursday. It's always at a different chamber member restaurant or bar. In April, it's at Beats, and we were so fortunate last year. The weather was perfect to be on the patio, so we're crossing our fingers that we will get that. Wall Street is the business sponsor for that month, Wall Street Insurance Group. So it is on April 21st from 4 to 5:30.
We have no snow.
I know, we would have thought, well, it is April, we should expect snow in April, right? Yeah. Another great event, and I'm gonna put another volunteer on the spot because Stephanie's here from CNS and she's the co-chair of our barbecue, one of our biggest networking event of the year. So Stephanie, do you want to share about the barbecue this year?
Sure. I mean, all the information's up there. May 12th at Capitol Bluffs Event Center. We had it there last year. The weather was awesome, and so we're really hoping and praying that happens again this year. We've got some awesome barbecue. Tickets are on sale now, so you can go to the chamber's website and buy tickets for $20 for adults. We also have kids tickets too, so we're trying to get the word out there. It's okay to bring your children. I mean, there will be plenty adult networking that's happening, but they also have mini golf for kids and barbecue for the kids too. So, and we're also having some more this year, so that's kind of cool for kids and adults. But there's plenty of Hy-Vee's doing our food, and we have plenty of adult beverage options as well as soft drinks that are be available. We have a margarita bar, we have tequila and bourbon tasting, as well as a beer garden. So
True, right, and we are featuring local distilleries and also that El Bandito. That's there's a tie local tequila brand. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to network and to get exposure. Thank our sponsors so much. We appreciate our sponsors and a great committee that we have that's putting this event on. So Chamber Barbecue by the Bluffs.
Yeah, kids are welcome.
Yeah, kid friendly.
Yeah, last years we had.
I just said that.
Okay, well, any member announcements? Let's share around the room. Does anybody have something that's going on in your organization that you'd like to share? Announcements? Oh, good, Claudia.
I'm Claudia from the library, and it's National Library Week, so it's a big deal at our library. And at 10:30, I'm going to honor Leslie Bickle. I hope some of you know her in the room. She's our 2022 library ambassador. She does a lot to help raise the profile of the library. She uses our services and talks about them and promotes the library and all she does, and she's on our foundation. So I just want to give her a plug.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll start here and then we'll catch up. We'll go in kind of order. Go, Steph.
I wanted to invite everyone to put on their calendar, Seniors Business Services, we're celebrating 45 years this year, and we're gonna do that with a ribbon cutting, and it'll be on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo at 4:30. So please mark your calendar, we're gonna let everybody know that you're welcome to come and celebrate with us.
Did you put that on the Chamber's community calendar, by the way? You probably did you? You can, on the Chamber. Some people that have ribbon cutting, some people, when they have a ribbon cutting, if it's open to the community, they will put it on there. I think Central Missouri Foster Care and Adoption put you have your own ribbon cutting today, and it's on there. And that was a question. We don't put it on as a chamber because sometimes the ribbon cutting is not necessarily open to the public. It's just a small ribbon cutting that you're having. But if it's something like that, you can always add it. That's one of the things you can do. So, yeah.
I'm Roger. I work at the Capital City Job Center, second Wednesday.
Yes.
This is the word project has partners with partnered with the ACRG and Goldman Cancer Center. Part of the treatment protocol for treatment of diagnosis and treatment cancer. In this area, that will get in our package is basic. That's go around how campus production.
Congratulations. And a great chance to see that facility if you haven't seen it. If you haven't had a chance to go there, that's a win-win. Anybody else? Anybody else want on this side? Susan.
Yeah, so, I hope that was again, we're going to be celebrating our 30th year. I just want to put a plug in that our restore donations will be really need volunteer truckers. They would be interested in helping us out with some dry box trucks and help pick up donations on Thursday, Saturday mornings. We would love to talk to you.
Good. Wonderful. Good stuff. What about anybody online? Anybody is anybody still with us on Zoom that wants to unmute and share?
Yes, this is Darcy with the American Cancer Society, and we have our inaugural American Cancer Society Farm to Table Mid-Missouri event. It will be Tuesday, May 10th at Fisher Farms from 5 to 8 p.m. And you can get your tickets at www.acsfarmtotablemissouri.org.
Thanks, Darcy. Anybody else? Oh. Go ahead. The mayor's gonna, yes, go ahead.
Several things coming up. Serve Jeff City is Friday, April 22nd. It's not through the city, but that organization, I have it down for 4 to 7 p.m. And Parks and Rec is having an Earth Day event that day at Memorial Park. And if anybody wants to have cleanups, it's kind of trash pickup season. If you contact Parks and Rec, they can get you all some bags to take out. And Old Munich Park Association along the south side is having their annual South Side Cleanup Day on Sunday, April 24th. So keep those in mind for cleaning up. And then this Saturday is the April bike ride. And you can go to April Community Bike Ride on Facebook and find information. It starts at Riverside Park. We'll bike over Memorial Park and back to Riverside.
You're gonna do that every month?
Every month,
Oh,
yes.
okay. When you announced that before, I didn't realize. That's
It's every month, so y'all should join us.
You miss April, there's May. Very good. All right. Anybody else? Good. Anybody on Zoom? Okay. Well, with that, we'll close it. It's been a great program. I think I might not be able to advance. all I was gonna share is that next month, May 13th is our next Friday coffee. So hope to see you there. Have a great day, guys. I did steal that program from Eastside because I went to Eastside and he filled in. And when I left that program, I was like, he does such a good job and he shares such good things about Lincoln.